Hi, my name is Elizabeth Marshall. I'm not a very good tech person. I'm really curious on where you guys got your, because as far as I knew, Indian Act chiefs were elected to on jurisdiction on the Indian reserves. And I wasn't aware that Chief Terry had any say on what business we have at Eskasoni. As well, I wasn't aware that Chief Leroy had any jurisdiction on lands or anything to do with outside of the reserve. So where did the KMK and the chiefs get the authority to speak on title and treaty? Because I don't see anything written in the Constitution, in the Indian Act, or the Indian Act Election Act. I don't see anything in the Charter of Rights and Freedom, and I certainly don't see anything in the treaty that says that you guys have the authority to, the chiefs have the authority to speak on our behalf regarding any issue involving title or treaty. So I'd like to know, where did you guys come up with the idea that Aglasiok, like Eric and Bruce Wildsmith and others, could speak on behalf of our title and treaty?
Well, right now in Canada, the only governing structures that are for Indian people residing on reserves are chiefs, and they are Indian Act chiefs. Now, this process here, if people, and I didn't say it at the last time, but there's been a lot of complaints about how chiefs and councils are running their affairs and this and that.
$200,000 salaries, yeah.
I will tell you this, that when I say we have a lot of things to talk about, one of them is the structure of our governing structures. And that is, and again, that's something, you know, people have to talk about themselves. And right now, that's what we have. We have Indian Act chiefs, and they're elected by the people, by yourself. You vote, do you vote in elections?
Not for Chief Terry.
Well, you vote for your chief, for Chief
No,
Leroy.
I didn't vote.
Oh, you don't vote in
No.
your community? Oh, well, then you can't complain.
Yes, I could. I still have treaty.
They say if you don't vote for anyone, then you should not miss the opportunity to vote. Then
Where in the treaty does it state I have to vote?
The treaty doesn't say you have to vote.
So then I'm confused. Why does
Well,
I need to
because
vote
that's
in order for you to
how
talk about
the
treaty?
governing structure is set up today on reserve, and there's not much that I can do about it. But I mean, if people don't like it, how would you see it changed? Tell me that. That's what I want to hear.
How would we like to see it changed?
How would you like to see it changed?
Well, after reading your timeline off of the website, the KMK website, my understanding reading the timeline is that since 1997, the reason why you guys are approached title and treaty was because the oil companies wanted the issue of title dealt with. It's on your own website, on your own timeline, beginning with June 1997. And so if you guys are there to deal with title and treaty on behalf of the oil companies, why didn't you come to us in 1997 or 2007 or 2002 or 2010?
Well, I know from now on, the way we're working now, we're not talking yet about title, and that's something that we all have to talk about, because I certainly have my views, and there's a lot of people who have their views about title. One thing that we weren't, is one thing that we do know for sure, and I know for sure, there will be no extinguishment of title. And, but with the 2002, with that, I was in part of that, you were part of that discussion, but there was something with the 2002. Did we do the title at the same time? I don't think so, but I don't know what you're saying.
Just to address that, 1997 is certainly when the Maritimes and Northeast pipeline was coming through, and the Mi'kmaq were saying that the Mi'kmaq have Aboriginal title, and how are you putting a pipeline through Nova Scotia without discussions with the Mi'kmaq? But did this start in 1997? No, I think Joe was quite specific. This process started in 1976, when the Grand Council and the Union of Nova Scotia Indians told the federal government they had to deal with the rights of the Mi'kmaq, including Aboriginal title. That's when these things started. As far as coming out to the community, as Viola had said in her original presentation, before the framework agreement was signed in 2007, so in